lovely Melissa Costello. We are so excited to have her here. For those of you who aren't familiar with Melissa, she is a culinary nutritionist, a health empowerment coach, and an ambassador for Bragg Live Foods. One of my favorite things. I don't know about you, but I drink a little apple cider vinegar and honey and water in the morning, every morning.
Yeah.
And Melissa has written 2 plant-based cookbooks, the Chow Ultimate Cookbook and the Clean and 14 Detox. So her mission is really to spread the knowledge of health and longevity through plant-based eating and using Bragg products. And now I'm going to let Alan introduce John.
Yeah. So Dr. Westerdahl is an internationally recognized authority in the field of nutrition and wellness. He is, and prepare yourself for this list, a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, a certified nutrition specialist, master herbalist, board-certified anti-aging health practitioner, health educator, and health scientist. And currently, he's the director of health sciences over at Bragg. Now, this is going to be quite the demo. As near as I can tell, this is precisely timed down to the minute. There are gloves involved, power equipment, lots of chemicals. Prepare yourself.
All right, let's give them a
Healthy.
round of applause. Woo!
Not really chemicals, but natural elements and phytochemicals that you find in healthy foods. Right, Melissa?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Can everyone hear okay?
I don't hear me, but okay. Great. All right. Well, as long as you can hear me, I'm good. So, hi everyone. Welcome. I hope you've all been enjoying yourself and getting to eat lots of yummy samples today and fermented foods and learning how to pickle and make kombucha. There's all kinds of really cool stuff going on here. So today I'm going to put together a fermented white bean rosemary dip and also a fermented raw beet salad. So we're going to give out little samples of the rosemary dip, and Dr. John is up here to answer any questions you might have about our Bragg products or, you know, nutrition or health science.
So we're passing out the recipes right now, so you have them. They're in nice cards that you can put in your kitchen or make at home.
Yes. So we're going to start out this recipe with 3 cups of white beans. So basically what I did was I soaked and sprouted these for a couple days in water and apple cider vinegar. So whenever you soak your beans that come dried, they're local, you want to soak them in an acid to help ferment them. That removes the phthalates, which helps them become more digestible and helps the nutrients become more available.
And those beans are an excellent source of vegetable protein. No cholesterol in that, no saturated fat, and they're high in fiber, particularly soluble fiber that you find in beans that actually help you lower your cholesterol when you eat them.
Yes. So I'm going to put some cut up red onion in here. And then my wonderful friends at Cultured and Saucy who are here today gave me some fermented garlic. So if you don't have access to fermented garlic, feel free to use raw garlic in this recipe.
And not only does garlic add a lot of great flavor to foods, you know, if you have 2 or 3 garlic cloves a day, and if you have high cholesterol, you can lower your cholesterol down by 10 to 11% in 1 month. And it keeps your blood thin. It's a cardiovascular herb, and actually the National Cancer Institute has listed it as the #1 anti-cancer food, garlic.
Yeah, it's awesome. So next I'm adding apple cider vinegar to this recipe. Dr. John, do you want to talk about apple cider vinegar?
Bragg organic apple cider vinegar. How many of you use that? Great.
Every day,
You know,
right here.
We believe that we know that it's the best in the world. And when you're looking for an organic apple cider vinegar, what do you look for? First of all, it has to be USDA organic certified, unfiltered, unrefined. This is raw. It's actually a live food. And non-GMO, and contains the mother enzyme, miracle enzyme, very rich in enzymes that you find at the bottom often in a bottle of apple cider vinegar. And good studies show that if you have a little vinegar with your meals, it can help you lower your glycemic index, and great for diabetics and pre-diabetics.
Yeah. I love to take it either before a meal or after a meal to help with digestion as well. It helps cut bloating and gas if you ever, or indigestion if you ever eat a meal and you feel full and you feel you have indigestion or heartburn. The apple cider vinegar is great to take in a glass of water, like a tablespoon and 8 ounces of water, and just sip it, and it really helps get rid of that. So it really is the miracle elixir.
Yes, it is, and it's used by many people, Hollywood stars to athletes. It's a wonderful food, and it's a superfood that should be included in your diet every day.
And it's also great for skin and hair. It gets rid of warts and moles, so it really is a pretty dynamic.
Yeah, so both externally and internally, apple cider vinegar has a lot of healing properties, been used since the days of Hippocrates back in 400 BC.
Yeah.
So it's a food that also has medicinal properties, but no side effects that you get from medicines.
Yeah. And before we go on, just since we're talking about apple cider vinegar, we have a new product now that's blended with all organic raw honey. So a lot of times people go, oh, the apple cider vinegar is a little too bitter for me or tart. So, and they like to mix it with honey at home. So now we have it already blended.
Yes, and it's pure organic honey with the vinegar. Just take a tablespoon of that, add it to a glass of water. You got your own apple cider vinegar drink, all raw and natural.
Cool. So next we're going to use olive oil in this dip recipe. It's about 5 tablespoons of olive oil. Bragg also has their own extra virgin organic olive oil, and it's cold pressed, and it's from Greece. It's a Koroniki olive, which is very rare. It's not easy to find that type of olive oil, but it's a wonderful, wonderful product.
So not only do we have the world's best organic apple cider vinegar, we have the world's best olive oil from Greece, unfiltered, unrefined, organic, non-GMO, kosher certified for Passover, for those of you that are interested in that. And that Koroniki olive is one of the highest in polyphenol antioxidants. And you probably heard on the news this last week that the polyphenols that you find in the extra virgin olive oil have anti-cancer properties, and it's known also for anti-heart disease properties as well.
Awesome. So far in this dip we have white beans, olive oil, apple cider vinegar, some red onion, some fermented garlic, and next I'm going to put in our organic sprinkle. This has 24 herbs and spices. This is an amazing staple to have in your kitchen. I use it when I roast potatoes, I use it in salads. I mean, it really is a wonderful condiment to have in your kitchen, herbs and spices. 24 herbs and spices.
So it's
right
the
here.
Organic alternative to Mrs. Dash, which is not organic herbs, and these 24 herbs and spices are perfectly balanced to give you the best flavor, and it's sodium free. So for those of you trying to keep the salt out of your diet, use Bragg Sprinkle instead of salt when you're doing your cooking.
Great. And then we have a little bit of crushed red pepper to give it a little spice. Pepper's great for digestion as well. A little bit of sea salt, not too much. And some fresh rosemary. I actually picked this right from my backyard this morning. Rosemary is really medicinal. It has a lot of medicinal properties to it.
Rosemary has rosmarol, which is actually a natural antioxidant. You know, they use it to prevent fats from oxidizing, and it's another anti-cancer food, by the way.
Yes. So a little bit, you guys, everyone should have gotten a recipe card, so you can actually play around with this recipe a little bit. This morning I added miso to it, which is really nice to add to it. It gives a little bit more of a fermented flavor as well. And then if also, as you're blending it, if it's a little too thick, you want to just add water to it. It's got enough flavor, you can just add a little water to it to get it nice and creamy.
Yes, blending this together is going to really release a lot of great flavors to these white beans, and you're going to make a really healthy dish. And as you see, it's not too high in fat. It has the healthy fats from the olive oil. The rest of the ingredients are really fat-free, but it has the healthy monounsaturated fats that consistent with the Mediterranean diet, where people live longer and are healthier because they are eating a healthier type of fat compared to the bad fats Americans eat.
And it's got tons of fiber and protein.
It sure does.
And you guys are all going to get a sample of this. The girls or the volunteers are going to pass it out, but it's super easy to make. You just throw it in a food processor or a blender, and you have a dip. Great to take to a party or have at a potluck. Super easy to put together.
Wonderful for parties, as you said, and your visitors visiting your home will really love this recipe. It has tremendous flavor with a lot of power-packed good nutrition and good health value.
Yes. So I'm going to move on to recipe number 2, and this is a fermented raw beet recipe. Now, I'm not a fermenter. I am a chef, and I've never really experienced with fermenting. So when I was asked to come here, because I am an ambassador for Bragg, I thought, okay, I'm going to ferment my own beets because I want to make a beet salad. And then I was like, oh no, how do I do that? And then I called my friend, who's an awesome master fermenter, again, Cultured and Saucy, the amazing Lauren. They own this company. And she said, oh, beets are the hardest thing to ferment. She's like, you picked a really good vegetable to ferment. It's really hard to do because they have so much sugar in them and they get moldy really fast in this heat especially. So I called Lynn and I was in a panic, and Lynn said, you can find fermented beet products on the shelves right here in Santa Barbara. So I do have this wild brine here today that we're going to use because I didn't want to scare you all off with my fermenting abilities, which are pretty much nil. So I'm going to pour this beet salad, or these fermented beets, right in here.
And these have a little cabbage in them too?
They have a little bit of cabbage, so it's just beets, cabbage, pear, ginger, cilantro, and garlic.
Pear.
So it's a really good combination, yeah.
So the pear instead of sugar, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, and this is more of a sweet beet salad. So I'm going to make a dressing with orange juice and olive oil, and I'm going to throw a little parsley in here. Parsley's great for digestion. It's great for chewing on after you eat a meal to clean your breath out. It's really great for flushing your liver. So again, this is, you can buy this already prepared. You don't have to ferment your own beets at home if that's something that scares you like it scared me. And you can just throw it together as a really yummy salad. So I'm going to make the dressing from scratch. I love making dressing from scratch. So we have orange juice here. I'm going to put some red onion in. And a little bit of, actually instead of the honey, I'm going to use our apple cider vinegar and honey, since I would use apple cider vinegar in here anyway. So this is a great thing to use when you're making dressing. Instead of doing the vinegar separate and the honey separate, you got it right here.
Good blend. Used in cooking as well as a beverage.
Exactly. So, and then olive oil. And these are all these measurements are right on your recipe card. And a little bit of sea salt, just a touch. You don't need a lot. And I forgot my whisk, so I'm just going to do this. Compromise, right? Or improvise, whatever it is.
Come on, sit down. I see some people standing up. We got some seats up here.
Got some seats. And then special ingredient, which I love to cook with, is cardamom, which is actually an Indian spice. It's really warming to the system, and it's just got such a wonderful flavor. Has anyone ever not tried cardamom before?
If you haven't, you will love it, and adding it to recipes.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. You're welcome to come up after the demonstration and give it a little smell if you'd like. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of that on here. You don't need a lot because it's really strong.
It's actually a good digestive herb, too.
Yes, it is. Okay, so what you do is you just pour the dressing on top, and then this needs to just sit and marinate for
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Have you made this before? He knows all about it. Wow.
30 minutes. Or you can let it sit overnight, and it gets even yummier and tastier. But again, this is another really yummy salad that you could take to a potluck or a picnic. You could make grains like brown rice or quinoa and just throw this right on top. Really, really yummy. So you have a well-rounded meal. So you can see how super simple that is, especially if you don't have to ferment your own beets.
And the wonderful combination of flavors and herbs and seasonings, along with that cabbage and the beets, has a lot of great, wonderful phytochemicals blend there that have heart disease properties to prevent it, anti-cancer properties, particularly in that cabbage and some of the herbs and onion even. It's wonderful, healthy food that does good for your body as well as great flavor when you serve it at home.
Yeah, and these recipes are almost completely vegan except for the honey. And if you are vegan and you want to use a different type of sweetener, that's great. You can use maple syrup or brown rice syrup, molasses, whatever type of sweetener that you like. And beets are also great for cleansing your blood. I mean, beets are the color of blood, so they're really great for cleansing your blood. They're great for your digestive system. There's a lot of people who do, nutritionists who do digestive tests with beets. It actually I hate to say this, but changes the color of your stool if your digestion
It
properly.
definitely will.
Yeah, if your digestion's working properly, that's how you know. It's kind of like a 24-hour test to let you know if your digestion's flushing through properly.
Right.
But they're really, really good. Beets are really good for you, and as Dr. John said, the cabbage is great as well.
It is.
Yeah, cruciferous vegetables are wonderful.
Any questions that we have about anything about some of the Bragg products, the apple cider vinegar, the recipes? Yes, this woman here.
Yeah, I just didn't quite catch what you said about sprouting those white beans.
She didn't hear what we said
no,
about
about
sprouting.
The white beans.
So I just basically soaked them for 2 days, and I kept changing the water.
Just
so you
water, but you said some
water with apple cider vinegar.
Oh, okay.
Or lemon. You can.
Okay.
You just have to use an acid, and that gets rid of the phthalates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Yes,
This
ma'am.
woman here. Okay, the proportion of honey in the ACV honey product, it's actually 50-50. So because in the recipes that you'll make when you do a drink, for instance, you do a tablespoon of honey to a tablespoon of vinegar and put in 8 ounces of water. So it's a 50-50 blend, and it's based on what a lot of people would do for having apple cider vinegar drinks, if they want 2 tablespoons or 1 tablespoon, whatever. And it's so that's the proportion of that. And this is organic certified honey, which is hard to get. We have to get ours from by the rainforest off in Brazil. It's about the only place on planet Earth that you can really get truly pure organic honey today.
And there are a lot of great. Also, there's a lot of great local. I don't know if it's purely organic,
May
but
not
there's,
be, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of great local honey here in Santa Barbara and in on the Central Coast as well. And I just want to say, a few weeks ago, I had a little case of strep throat, and I don't normally ever get sick. And I basically, everyone was like, you have to go to the doctor, you have to get antibiotics. And I had strep throat a lot growing up as a kid before I changed my diet and I became a vegan. And this is the first time I had it in over 20 years. And I was like, no, I'm going to kick this on my own. So what I did was raw garlic, apple cider vinegar, raw honey, lemon, and cayenne, and I basically drank it all day long for 2 days, and I literally knocked it out in 2 days. And it just was, I mean, this stuff is just such a miracle. I mean, food is our medicine. You know, it's unfortunate that there's so much food out there today that's unhealthy, but these products here are our medicine. They're really great for the body, and you know, if you want to be healthy, this stuff really helps that.
So when you have a
Supports
sore throat or a cold, apple cider vinegar and honey is a great thing to have.
Yeah.
As part of your for the healing properties of it.
And I was gargling with it too, which
Yes, that would be good.
It burned really bad, but I knew it was working. I was like, this is definitely working,
Yeah.
and it helped. It totally helped.
As you know, apple cider vinegar was actually like a penicillin type product there in World War I, you know, and World War II, when they didn't have the antibiotics out there, and they would use it for cleaning wounds and so forth.
Yeah.
So a lot of beneficial effects. Any other questions that we have about anything of the recipe or vinegar and whatever? Yes, this woman here.
Yes, we're talking about the medicinal properties of garlic.
Can you stand up maybe? And,
All right. We're talking about the medicinal properties of garlic.
Yes.
Do you ruin those, or do you destroy them if you cook it or roast it?
okay, that's a very good question. If you have the garlic, and if you cook it or roast it or whatever, does that destroy the medicinal properties of garlic? And it doesn't. Any way you can get garlic in your diet, whether it's aged or fermented or cooked or whatever, it's good. It has a lot of the phytochemicals in it. Now, of course, if you overcook it and burn it, then you're ruining a lot of it. But garlic in all its forms have these medicinal properties. Anti-cancer, helping to keep the cholesterol under control, keeping the blood thin, antibacterial properties. And as I said, the National Cancer Institute has listed, they had a food pyramid showing the foods that have the most potential for anti-cancer. Garlic was #1. So it's a wonderful food. And I encourage, really, people to try to get at least 1 or 2 equivalents of a garlic clove in your diet every day for general maintenance of good health. And if you happen to have high cholesterol or high blood pressure, go for 3 or more cloves a day, and that will potentially help with that.
So an apple a day and a clove of garlic a day. You got it right here.
Perfect.
You
And
got
make
it,
sure
apple right there.
One thing I want to stress when you have apple products, only get organic certified apples, whether it's our apple cider vinegar or a fresh apple or applesauce, because the environmental group that looks at the different types of foods and how much are the dirtiest, and apples have been rated the number one dirtiest food when it comes to pesticides.
Yeah,
And lots of pesticides used in apples, so don't eat conventional apples or apple products. Go for organic when it comes to apple. Yes?
What if you make them yourself?
What if you make what yourself?
Stuff with apples.
If you make stuff with the apples yourself, that's really good. That's the best way. That'll be the freshest. But when you do make it, use organic certified apples. Look for those. Any other questions? Okay.
Awesome.
Well, try those recipes at home, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the greatest thing about cooking and being in the kitchen is that it's a creative outlet. So you get to play around with a lot of different flavors, and that's something that I love to do. And that's why I tried the recipe with a few different things. I added miso to it to see how it tastes. So get creative and use it as an outlet for yourself to be in the kitchen and have fun and experiment. And it won't always turn out great, but at least you're in there and you're cooking food and you're getting your hands in your food and you're really connecting to it, which is super important.
And make sure what you make is healthy. Foods from plants, fruits, vegetables, beans, seeds, nuts, all these foods prevent the diseases that kill us today. And they enhance vitality, they're beauty foods, they're power foods for achieving optimal health. So eat more plant foods, and you have the power within yourself as you make these foods and serve them to your family. You can give them health, or you can give them something that's not too healthy. Give them health, and you can give them health with a lot of great flavor.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
We'll be up here for a few questions if you want to come up.
Yeah.
Okay.